Hi everyone, I hope you're all feeling okay. I know I haven't been online for a couple of months now. I haven't been feeling very well, but I'm absolutely fine now and it was nothing serious. I just needed a little time out to rest. I do have a few readings that I want to share with you over the next week or so I'm going to try and do some catch up and get them all out and get all the videos done for YouTube. I'm going to say before I go into this one that this is for entertainment purposes only. It's my thoughts and opinions, it's not fact. Now, the reading I'm going to do today is on Tyler Robinson. I'm sure everyone's aware by now that this is the young man who assassinated Charlie Kirk on the 10th of September while he was at a university talk in Utah. Now, before I go into the reading specifically on Tyler Robinson, I personally feel that this young man was someone who was very, very lost. All kinds of emotions here, but he was very, very lost. And I do feel like there's been some indoctrination or radicalization, whatever people like to call it. But there were people out there who preyed on this man's vulnerability. And no, they didn't pull the trigger, but they were inciting or encouraging, I'm going to say, for him to be involved in these destructive actions. I feel like he was more of a weaponized human. I've heard the term said before, and I feel like this is what Tyler Robinson was. To explain that a bit more, I feel like if you can imagine a bot farm, I'm going to say, and you have all these trolls and they're paid for by, it could be something, there's a lot of money behind them, so it could be something like a foreign government, or it could be a huge, extremely wealthy, extremely powerful person. But what they'd do is they'd have these agitators, and they'd be online and they'd find these people who were vulnerable, who were a bit lost, and they wouldn't say, go out and commit this horrible crime, but what they do is encourage these people towards more negative thoughts, encourage them that, all these fears they have, everything that's wrong with their life right now is because of someone else, and they'd encourage them to direct their anger towards this person. So yes, even though I feel as though Tyler Robinson is that man who pulled the trigger, I do feel as though there's this extra layer of responsibility that comes from other people, other agitators who encouraged or incited this kind of behaviour. I don't feel as though these people are going to be caught. I don't feel as though there'll be any arrests for them. And I feel as though they'll continue to just agitate, cause trouble, wreak havoc, and encourage civil unrest throughout society. But I do get a very strong feeling that these agitators are not US citizens. They're from outside of the US somewhere, so it would just be too difficult to find them. And again, I feel like this was a very, very professional in the way he was radicalized or turned, if you like. Now, with him speaking to someone, obviously I'm talking about, there was these agitators. I feel like there was some chat room there, and I feel as though this was like a gaming chat room, something to do with games and money. So possible, I don't know if it was Xbox or whatever, but I do get a strong gaming connection here. And again, chat rooms, apologies, but I do feel as though he felt confident enough to speak about this. I mean, we've seen some of the messages from after the event. I don't believe we've seen all of them, but he felt quite confident speaking afterwards, and I do feel that he felt quite confident about speaking to someone about this beforehand. But I'm going to go into that now, and I'm going to go through the reading in a couple of parts. Now, the first card that I have, for Tyler Robinson is this one. So I had to get away. And I feel like this is more than just one aspect of Tyler Robinson's life. I feel like this is his family life. I feel like this is the institution of the church. I feel like there are people around him. He feels like he's constantly being judged in a negative way. I feel as though there's possibly some sort of incident at school as well. It's like he's turning his back on the world. He wants to get away from all of it. But also, I feel like this comes to the actual event himself. He genuinely thought that he was going to get away with this. He thought somehow he could make it out of there scot-free. But this, I had to get away. It's all to do with these negative thoughts that's in his head. Like I said, this young man felt extremely lost. He was confused about who he was. He didn't know where to turn. He was mentally very, very vulnerable. And I feel like that is what led to him being radicalized. I feel like it was a very quick process too. I feel like once he got away from family, friends, whatever, I feel like he was very, very isolated. And he was in this relationship. I feel that once the relationship started, that was pretty much a turning point for him. And that's when his views would become more and more extreme. And I'm not saying they were encouraged by his partner, but they were almost certainly encouraged by these people that he was chatting to online. And when he saw Charlie Kirk, he didn't see Charlie Kirk the person. He saw Charlie Kirk as this embodiment of everything that he was trying to get away from, or everything that he thought was negative around him. Charlie Kirk was never the issue with Tyler Robinson. I just get this really strong feeling that the issue was something deeper, and rather than targeting that, he went and targeted Charlie Kirk instead. The second card that I have for Tyler is this one, the accomplice or had help. And I've already said I feel as though there's this indoctrination going on online in these chat rooms. I do feel very, very strongly these were in gaming chat rooms. Keep feeling like there's some sort of Reddit thread somewhere. But with this accomplice one, I feel as though this goes deeper than just the online encouragement that he had. I feel as though someone actually knew what he was plotting. And to me, there should have been another arrest for this. Now, I do have a feeling that someone's provided information and in return they've been granted possibly some immunity from prosecution, but I do feel like there's an accomplice here. I don't feel like it's a family member, but there is an accomplice that's helped Tyler with this. Maybe they thought he was joking. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I do feel as though there should have been another arrest for conspiracy to murder or something along those lines. It's almost like the FBI could have got both of these people, but because they're under so much pressure, they're trying to get the actual person who pulled the trigger. It's like they haven't saw the woods for the trees, and they've just thought, right, well, at least if we can get one of them definitely, then I don't know. But I feel as though it should have been two people who were, at least two people who were arrested for this murder. Now, as I've said already, this goes deeper. This isn't, Charlie Kirk was the target, but he wasn't the issue as to what was going on in Tyler Robinson's head. And the first card is this haunted. So there's these flashbacks, memories. This is something that's deeply personal to Tyler, and it's constantly playing around in his head. He doesn't know how to get away from this. And we have the Forcer card here as well. So it's like he felt bullied, he felt traumatized, I'm going to say. He felt abused in some way. And that's, like I said, it goes way back. So it's very, very personal to him. But I feel as though the Forcer card is further in the future. And it's like I feel like that's more to do with his relationship, because people didn't approve of what was going on in his private life. And because of his private life, because of his relationships, that was basically his happy place, and he held a strong grudge because he felt as though he wasn't able to show that freely. And again, this isn't Charlie Kirk that's the issue. This is something much deeper within Tyler Robinson, and it's like the church and the family that brought him up. And I'm not saying that I don't want to insinuate that his family bullied him or that his family done anything. I feel as though Tyler was too introverted to actually have that difficult conversation with his family about who he was and what he wanted in life, and to escape having that conversation with them, or, you know, being honest and upfront with his family and the church and everything else, he abandoned that, and he thought targeting Charlie Kirk was the answer, which it wasn't. The next cards that I have, I'm going to show you together. So we have this card, the Temperance card, which is basically his life in balance. And alongside that, we have the Justice card, which is clearly the trial, the legal card that's coming up. And they're together for a reason, because obviously there's the death penalty, so his life is in balance. And now that he's in custody, he's on suicide watch, isn't he? I wouldn't be surprised if something does happen to Tyler Robinson, and whether that's, you know, prior to the trial, after sentencing. I just feel as though he's not quite stable, and I just wouldn't be surprised if he does take his own life at some point. With the legal proceedings and everything being in the balance, I also feel as though there's someone else. And I mentioned earlier, I feel as though there's this accomplice, that, you know, some sort of conspiracy there. But I also feel like there's another life in balance. I feel like Tyler Robinson's not saying anything because he's trying to possibly protect someone. I don't think he's likely to say anything either. I think once he finds out that his partner's being taken, he's clearly going to be very, very hurt, upset, and that could be the thing that pushes him over the edge. But this card here, the advice, out of the picture. And I do feel like this is him turning his back on legal proceedings. If he doesn't commit suicide, I think I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. If he does not do that before the trial, then he's going to attempt it at some point before the trial. The final card that I have here is the Lovers card. Now this is, you know, what we should be looking for in the future, the lovers, the relationship. And with this, I'm going to go through a few cards that I've pulled out for, you know, who this lover is, this relationship. But I keep on seeing messages, and I keep on seeing that something should be happening here. I feel like this, unfortunately, to me, this is the co-conspirator. And whether or not, you know, they've sat and plotted and said, oh, this is what we're going to do, this is what's going to happen, I feel as though things have been said in messages between this person and Tyler Robinson. This person saying, oh, I thought they were joking, but I feel like it should have been looked into a little bit more. And with the lover, the first card that I get is this one. I am safe now. To me, I feel like that's this person thinking they've got away with this. And I keep on coming back to some sort of immunity. I keep seeing these messages, and, you know, there's some of these messages released online. Personally, to me, those messages are not the full picture. There is clearly parts of that are missing, and you don't need the cards to tell you that. You can see by the conversation and how it goes, part of that is being redacted. And again, it keeps drawing me back to this some sort of immunity deal, like, you know, he throws Tyler Robinson under the bus, gives them the, not under the bus because he did do it, sorry, but gives this definitive information that could, you know, convict him, and they'll, you know, walk away possibly for their part. Second card for this lover is this one, a web of lies. And as I said, I feel as though once Tyler Robinson met this person, then that's when this indoctrination began to ramp up really, really quickly. And I'm not blaming this person entirely for that, because they weren't the ones online doing this. But I do feel as though because of that relationship status, he felt even more isolated and even more alone. The lies, I feel, are to save their own skin. I mean, this is obviously an incredibly scary situation for anyone, especially someone so young. But again, this person's trying to save their own skin, which is again obvious. Now there's this card too. So did not go to plan, which pulls me back to the fact that there was some planning involved. And you can see from the messages, it's like, oh, I'm going to go back and get something. But again, there's another element there. There was part of the plan, whatever this person's involvement was, but it didn't quite go right. I genuinely believe that Tyler Robinson thought he was going to get away with this. He thought he wasn't going to be caught. We also have this, the magician, a dark ritual. And again, it draws me back to this web of lies, because the magician's a trickster. He's an illusionist. And again, I do feel that at some point people are going to see through this, and there will be elements of truth that come out, because the final card is the judgment card, and we have a harsh sentence there, and a harsh sentence is normally some sort of divine or karmic justice around this. But I do feel very, very strongly there is an accomplice somewhere in amongst this, and they should have been arrested too. With Tyler's family, with his father being, obviously he was in law and order for such a long time, I do feel like, and his family are a church-going family, they are Republican supporters, I feel as though there's a lot of embarrassment hanging over them now, a lot of disbelief that this could have happened. But I also feel that when his father took him in or convinced him to go into the police station, because of his previous employment, I do feel as though there was some sort of, not an official one, but some sort of tip where they actually said to him, you know, we're looking for your boy, you might want to bring him in to save the embarrassment of having to go to the father's house, possibly something out of courtesy from an old colleague. But I just feel as though there's this link there, which is why, you know, his father looked at the picture and was like, right, we're going to make sure we take you in. I can't get my head around not seeing that there is this link. Someone, you know, tipped the father off, but said to him, like, bring him in because we're going to come to the house and collect him. That's a very brief initial overview reading that I'm getting on the Tyler Robinson situation. I do keep feeling as though there's going to be a female arrested in the future. Now, I feel like it's something in connection with the assassination, but what's not coming through clearly is whether or not that is an arrest because of something that she's done afterwards or something that this lady has done before the assassination. But I do feel there's another arrest here. Yeah, horrible situation for, you know, the young people who become so indoctrinated that they think violence is the only answer, and the people like Charlie Kirk and his family who are the victims of such crimes. So yes, I will do another reading in the future, but I am going to say one more thing. Sorry, Erika Kirk. Now, since this has happened, there's been so much online, there's been so much hatred towards this lady, and I personally do not feel she's been involved in her husband's death in any way, shape or form. This woman, to me, she's devastated. A lot of people have mentioned her statement. I personally feel as though she's just broken. People are trying to get her through the day. I think it's quite common with a lot of people where they might have someone who's in the medical profession around them, and they would possibly give them something to help them sleep, or they might give them something to calm their nerves. And I just, I don't feel as though she would have got through that speech without something to calm her down. I also feel as though, yes, it was a scripted speech. I don't feel as though she could have done 16 minutes without a script. She'd just lost her husband. It's like she's angry because you haven't just stolen from her. You haven't stolen her husband's stolen her husband's future. You haven't just stolen her future. You've stolen her children's future too. I do worry for her because I do feel as though her health, like she needs to, someone who loves her, this lady, needs to put their arms around her and take her to one side, take her out of the limelight, because I don't feel as though she can handle all of this right now. And her health will suffer if people just don't take her back and let her grieve and let her rest a little bit too. But I am going to do a full reading on Erika and upload that hopefully in the next few days. I hope everyone was okay, and if there are any questions on that reading or anything specific people think I should take a deeper look into, then please do let me know.